Going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. You know what time it is? It's Market Watch Wednesday. We got the special edition today. It is strictly jump to Lightspeed just to get a glimpse, now that everything's out of pre-sale, what we're looking at. So let's jump right into this. You can get a Carbonite for 260. You can get a booster for 75. 75 for a brand new booster is kind of crazy, but I understand why. We got Devastator here sitting at about 20. This is kind of my guess point. I guess they're a little bit more expensive. 25, I guess. That was kind of my guess point just because of the showdown printing, but Devastator is for sure the best card in this set, so I'm not surprised to see it the highest on the list. Followed up by what I deemed as the second best legendary. It was Planetary Bombardment. Same kind of price tag, 22, 23. I don't know if it's just me in my local area, but I haven't seen a lot of these get pulled, to be honest, so there is that. We're not going to talk about showcases, don't care. Um, Darth Vader being the next one up. I'm not sure if this is collector wise or people are splashing this certain stuff. It is a good eject target, I'll give them that. Um, Other than that, though, it's an okay card, I would say. Han Solo, same concept as Devastator. It just got OP pack treatment, so it could be cheaper. This is definitely a good card, so I don't hate this price tag, but we will see. Moving on, though. We got, whoa, Luke Skywalker's chilling up here. Okay. That's kind of impressive for a rare. $7. It's definitely one of the better rares, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure I put it in my video about good cards. I think I had this in Poe. I'm not positive, but we'll see. I'm not too surprised by that. It's a good rare for sure. Stolen AT Hauler is okay, I guess, right? It's Kazuda isn't as crazy as I thought. I think Kazuda's good, right? But I don't think it's as crazy as I initially imagined. But maybe it just hasn't been fully broken yet, so we'll see. Turbo Laser Salvo for $8 isn't too bad. We will talk probably a bit about prestiges because I imagine a lot of them will be on there. Uh, it kind of sucks, to be honest, because like prestige packs are $30 a pack, generally speaking, at market value. And this is your best hit, like base form, obviously, but this is your best hit. It's not even worth the price of the pack, so it kind of seems odd. I mean, granted, you get more rares and hypers and whatnot, and higher chance for legendaries, but I don't know. I'm not sure if the craze will still be on, so I guess we'll find out. Moving on though, on to page 2 here, we got Devastator foil. On again, a lot of retrains, prestige foil. Sabine's masterpiece. I think this card's good. It just kind of needs. I feel like this is more realistic than these for sure. I feel like in green it's pretty solid, in yellow it's pretty solid. The red and the blue is kind of lackluster. I don't know if yellow decks can play it though. I feel like with green specifically and ECL it feels good, but other than that, it's not too crazy. Red 5 here at 16 for the prestige foil. Annihilator. See, like even that prestige foil annihilator for 1550 is kind of absurd. I guess 20 is realistically what it's selling for, but that's the tier 2. That's like I think I've seen you get 8 tier 1s and 4 tier 2s and you're hoping for a serial, right? That's just not good. The pricing on them is not as high as you would hope, I think. We got some rares here though. We got Black 1. I think Black One's a great card in general. Um, it's obviously better in Poe, but 2/3 spaceship that gets a +1 if it gets an upgrade is pretty good. It's one of the better rares in the set. Um, Sokotano also is probably going to be in a handful of decks. If you don't have these, I would recommend getting them. I mean, $3 is a little high for something that could still be crashing, but it's going to be in Quinlan. It's probably in Han, or at least sided in Han if they're switching from this to Kira or whatever it may be. It's got the same stat line, right? It's a pitch. I think this card's pretty good. Moving on, though, we got Vader again. IG 2000. I'm surprised to see this one only at $2 comparatively. Maybe simply because it has prestige editions, it's easier to come by. But I think IG 2000 is a house of a card, so there is that. We're gonna move on. Like I said, I'll loosely talk about Prestige. Got no glory, only results. I think this card is kind of a banger, right? Like it's definitely an include in most blue villain that's playing control. So I would be looking into that. Also, side note, if anybody's got extra bulk or rares they want to get rid of and they want to send them to me, they can. I got a list of stuff that I still need from this set because I didn't end up buying here. I'll pull it up. Check this out. If any of you guys want to send me this, I mean, I wouldn't complain, you know. I need a lot of this stuff. I actually need 3 of this. I don't know why this is 2. I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain, but we're going to get back to what we were talking about. Move that out of the way. Um, no glory's good, right? Trench Run also, this is a Kazuda card. I don't see people running this in non-Kazuda decks. I've seen some lists running it, but I feel like if you're not going to negate that, you could have a chance where you get to attack for nothing and kill your own unit, which is not good if you ask me. And that chance of that happening sucks. Prestige foil black 1 for 14. Is that for sure? Yep, 14. Um, Back to what I was saying about Prestiges being a little too cheap. Speaking of too cheap, Carbonites are cool, right? I mean, the cards look sick. I won't deny that. But man, they tank some of these showcase prices because there's so many showcases running around right now. Like, I mean, obviously Holdo's the worst one. I will not deny that. But the fact that you can get this for $50 when like the cheapest showcase beforehand was like at least 80, right? Like, I don't know. That's kind of bizarre to me. But yeah, got another Luke Skywalker there. I want to see some newer cards, right? We're kind of just in Prestige Edition territory and different prints. Hyperspace Annihilator, I guess. Commandeer. I think this card, if you don't have these yet, I would pick these up. And if you have too many, send them to me. I need them. Um, but I think this card, if Django is as relevant as it's probably going to be, right? Like it seems like Django's going to be a house of a deck. This card is so nuts. Like, sure, on the Dark Raid turn, it's not going to do much because they'll probably do it early. But like, if they play a Dark Raid later for possibly a Devastator, if they're on that, or if they just drop one of their 6 drops like a Raider or a Cargo Jug or a Fire Spray or whatever, you just steal it, do the damage, or possibly trade if that's an option, and then maybe give it back to them if you didn't trade. This card is super good. I guess you can't steal Devastator. It's 6 or less. I just realized that while I was looking at it. But like their cargo jugs, or what I keep their war juggernauts, their fire sprays, and their raiders all get bodied by this. Even without like against other decks that just have spaceships splashed in, like there could be times where like you're playing against Han and they drop a Falcon and then you can't afford to take the Falcon damage, or they have a spaceship you can trade into, or whatever it may be. Like, it gives you tons of options. I think this card's super good. Same with, I saw it. Where was it? They hate that ship. In Kazuda specifically, I think this is really good, but there are other options that I haven't tested out as much that I think this could also fit. Um, but in Kazuda, you can run multiple options, right? You could play the War Juggernauts, right? And then play your War Juggernaut for 4, and then you basically write 1 3 less. Play your War Juggernaut for 4, and then blow up the TIE fighters that you just gave them. So you're basically just playing a War Juggernaut for 4, but it costs you an extra card. One of the more fun ones is Home 1, the new Home 1, because it costs 9, but if they have 3 spaceships, it costs 3 less, so it costs 6. And if they basically on turn 1 or 2, if they stick a spaceship at any point in time that doesn't die, you can play this on turn 4 resources, whatever, and you can give them their 2 TIE fighters and then play your home 1 for the other remaining resources, which is kind of insane. I had it happen to me at locals, and it was kind of a ass beating from there, to be honest. I couldn't do anything about it. I mean, sure, it's kind of more combo oriented, but I had a 1 spaceship and they hate that ship home 1. Like, what was I supposed to do? Never play a spaceship. But yeah, it's honestly crazy. So might need to watch out for this one. Also, there is options like in other decks too, right? Like Blue Hero can run this to if they have to play their redemption super soon to stabilize. There's that option as well. Um, what else we got? A bunch of cheap prestige cards, right? $10, $10, $6. Ghost. Hmm. Speaking of, there's the actual ghost. Um, I don't think Hera's going to do anything. I've seen a lot of people on Carabass experimenting with it, and every time I've played it, no matter what deck I'm playing, I have never lost to it. I do not think it's any good, just because Hera as a leader sucks. That's kind of the problem, to be honest. She doesn't do anything as a non-unit, and as a unit, she gives in one experience, like on a 6 flip 4/6. It's just terrible, to be honest. So I think Hera needs a retrain, but maybe eventually. We'll see. Speaking of the devil, there's home one hyperspace, dirt cheap. Looking at $5 for the hyperspace version of this, so I don't think it's a fantastic card besides that specific interaction, so there is that. Got to look at the Lando showcase just because I own one of these. Yeah, $65. Dang, feels bad. I would probably trade it for my list of rares, which is a shame, but I don't know. But meanwhile, you got Hyperspace Foil Colossus for 17. That's nuts. I think this card's terrible. I'm pretty sure I've already voiced my opinion about that. There is no world where I will take less cards in my hand. I enjoy consistency, and 5 HP does not mean enough to me to sacrifice a card. So if it was like I think I've said it before, if there was a base, I don't think it could be in blue, I guess, but probably not. I don't know. I feel like it would have to be the yellow one, but just like reskinned, right? Like Nabbit Village. If it was like 26 HP and said start the game with 8 cards, or your opening hand has 8 cards, and you get to keep all of them, I would 100% play it. Like I card advantage is always going to be good, even though drawing cards in this game isn't that important. I think that to an extent, having options on the opener, especially, super worthwhile. Eject for $2. I think this card's kind of a pipe dream, to be honest. I've tested out some Poe and some other decks that run it, and it never really felt as great as I would have hoped it to. But there are times where you get the combo off in Poe and it feels nice. But against other players, like you stick a black one and then they play something that has a ping and then they Tarkin town it before you can even eject and your whole turn's wasted. It feels terrible. There are certain times though it could be all right, but I think it's a little bit maybe overhyped. Unity of Purpose, I'm pretty sure I said this was the worst legendary in the set. I still stand by that, to be honest, but there is a Rex green deck floating around somewhere that is on this and the Droid Manufactory base. And it's super interesting. I can't lie. Maybe it does all right. I don't think so. It was more of like a surprise factor, I think. But still, it's an interesting concept. So can't hate on it too much. Versio, I think, is a super solid rare. I technically, I guess I need these two. I forgot I traded mine for a Prestige IG 2000, and along with a couple other things, right? But I think this is a pretty solid rare. It's got good stats for a 4-drop, 4/3 shielded, right? Also is a shielded pilot for 3/3. That's something worth considering. What else we got? Executor, I think, is a bad card. Would never pick this up. I think I talked about this last week when we were looking at pre-sale prices, and I told you this was like a $2 card at most, and here we are, almost to fruition. We're at 3, and I guarantee you this will keep spiking down. 64 of them sold at $4 though, so I guess people want them executors. What else we got here? Radiant 7, I think, is also kind of tough. Razor Crest Prestige for $3, $4 is so nutty. Um, It's super good in Mando, I guess, right? I almost skipped over Invincible, kind of another niche card. We're gonna actually skip over it. What else we got though? Mist Hunter Prestige Foil for $6 as a listing. Let's see, is that legit? 765 for a foil. So imagine opening your card pack in one of your tier twos as this Mist Hunter. And I mean, sure, if you need them to play them, or you just like the way they look, cool, right? But just from like a monetary standpoint, that is tough. So Millennium Falcon, get out and push. What rare? This is from the deck. Okay, I was gonna say, what is this from? From the deck, you're running 450. Some of them are selling. There's that. Keep that in mind. Same Chewbacca Hyperspace. This card's super good. Granted, it only comes from a few ways, but yeah, that one's not too surprising. A lot of the it's like one of the only really good pilots, I think. There's a couple, but it's one of them. Shadowcaster being at $5 is okay. I don't think it has a good spot right now, but it's still not a bad card. Maybe down the line it gets better. We're Juggernaut for 240. Jam Com. I think Jam Com's also an okay card to pick up for $1. It's not the best. I don't know. Does it beat Spark Rebellion just because it costs one less? I'm not positive, but what else do we got? Starhawk is an okay pickup for this cheap. Oh, maybe not this cheap. $5. I lied. I think if it gets cheaper, sure. I think it's funny, right? Like all the Endless Legion combo decks that are coming up because of it, or people thinking about it. But as a standalone card, is it that great? We're not positive. Um, Invisible Hand is a good rare to own. Let's keep going though. I don't want to drag this on forever. Scramble Fighters, I think, is dog to say the least. I don't like that card. We're gonna move on though. Swarming Vulture Droids, there we go. I'm looking to pick up more weekly play versions of this. I think I currently have 4. 2 of them foil, 2 of them not. So we'll see. We'll get there eventually. Once I do, I'll make the deck of some sort, right? $3 for the Mist Hunter regular. That's light work, I guess. That's fire spray from the deck. I personally am not the biggest fan of this card. I know a lot of people are talking about it being decent. A 5 cost 5/4 shielded is all right, right, as a unit. The piloting is semi lackluster, right? It doesn't really fit into Django because it doesn't count as unit damage. It counts as the upgrade doing damage. So a little bit more lackluster there. Maybe it finds space in Cad Bane, I guess, if you want to upgrade your spaceships. You do play some transports, so maybe it goes there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. That one's debatable for me. Gonna move on. Next page. What do we got? Anything standing out here? Notice integrations. I haven't seen. I guess that's hyperspace. I was gonna say I haven't seen anybody talking about this. Old Pro Fun Diddy. Like I said, I think this is one of the. It's not going to be good because the meta currently, right? Like it seems to be in like an aggro mid-range poise position with Django, Kazuda, Quinlan. What else is there? Han. That's the one I was missing. Um, it seems to be kind of aggro mid-range poise, so this probably doesn't get its time in the limelight. But if we ever pivot, this could be a good one to consider. Nebula Ignition, I think, is ass. Same with Death Star Plans. I think these are both pretty rough legendaries, so we're not going to talk about them. This card, I know. I mean, I guess for 80 cents, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, right? I know a lot of people were trying this out in Django, but I do not think this card is worth the slot. You have to have the initiative to do the 2 indirect, and even if you do, they can just ping it down and Tarkin town it if they have to. And then against other decks, a 2/3 stat line just doesn't cut it on the ground, right? Like people are playing 3/3s or 3/2s, so it's generally not going to do you a lot. So I do not think that card is worth the spot, if you ask me, but that could just be my opinion. Gonna keep going here though. Want to hopefully get to 10. Lake Country is super bad. Basically a Twin Suns base if I've ever seen one. Um, Corvus, I think, is worthwhile in a sense. I'm not sure where right now, right? It's obviously got to be like a control style deck. But I think a Restore 2 on a 5-drop spaceship is pretty good. So, yeah, it's definitely one to look out for. What else do we got, though? Shadow. Oh, what? You're telling me that I could buy this legendary Shadowcaster Prestige for 250 and the non-prestige one was $5? I don't think so. If you need your casters, just get them in that form, I guess. And like I said, Nebula Ignition, I think, is a rough. Blue Leader, I skipped over it, I think, once already, and definitely in Prestige. I think Blue Leader is a great card in general. However, there are certain times where it feels a little bit lackluster, but in like the certain decks that want to run this, being so versatile is worthwhile. Oh, there's the regular one for 40 cents. Super versatile, definitely worth considering. Another base that I will never run in my life. Don't don't love. I am a consistency kind of guy, so that will not ever see the light of day for me. Moving on though, we'll go last page here. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I don't have that long. I don't want to take up that much of your guys' time. Just enough to keep you interested, you know? And it's probably a good thing because we're seeing a lot of cards that I'm not sure why they're even this high up. There was nothing here. I think Thermal Oscillator is actually an okay base. I think this is the Kazuda base, honestly, just because you can draw those said combo pieces with They Hate That Shit more consistently. And it's not much of a ping deck, so you don't have to worry about Tarkin Town as much. We're going to do one more, though, because I'm curious. See if there's anything. Oh, speak of the devil, I think this card's cracked. For $1, should pick him up. I should pick him up. They were on my list, right? I think this card's super good, especially in Cad Bane specifically, which I'm maybe a little biased because I enjoy that deck right now. But in general, if Lurking Tie makes a comeback, this card says yellow has an option to deal with it now. And that was their biggest problem before was Lurking Tie was like unavoidable, painful for them. Like your only option was to have a spaceship that could kill it if they didn't have a way to protect it. This kind of gives you an option. As long as they don't, pilot it or whatever. But what else we got? Cassian's actually not a terrible card. 3/4 stat line is kind of rough, I guess, but cheaper Unity of Purpose and Foil. Same with Executor. $2. Hey, that's what we're talking about. This is not a bad one. Comes in Prestige though, right? So that's why people aren't too crazy. But I think Fireball is actually a really good card. Not even specifically in Kazuda, just because it's a 3/3 ambush in space. If they're playing like a red, what is it? Red Squadron, Green Squadron A-Wing, or the new one, just the 1/3 spaceships, this can run into it and survive even after the effect. And if they're playing any other spaceship, a 2/3, 3/2, this just runs right into it, free trade. I think this card is super solid. I'm curious. I gotta look just to see if they have OP packs, but we're gonna go swarming. They do. Oh, look at that. That's kind of neat. Swarming Vulture Droid foil, $3. That's a little too steep for me to actually want to pick them up. But now it's got me curious about Han Solo and Star Wars Unlimited. Let's see. Okay. So the OP pack ones got a decent price tag to it, $21. Yeah, don't hate that. But as tradition, we will throw out the boy. His time's coming. Set 6. I feel it. Don't know why that just said Tarfire. $1.35. I mean, they were selling at $1.19. The stocks are going through the roof. Gotta get them near mints, baby. Gotta get your Tarfals. I'll sign any Tarfal anyone presents me also, in case anybody ever gets to that point. But yeah, that's all I got this time. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this week's Market Watch. Like I said, next week we'll probably go back to just seeing top 10 pages of best selling in general. But since it's a new set, wanted to take a deeper dive into Jump to Lightspeed. If you enjoyed it, let me know and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're buying, what you're selling from the new set, from the old set, whatever it may be. Feel free to comment and chat. I'm always available. Drop a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.